guys, it is Josh. I'm here with Screen Rant and the cast of The Expanse Season 4.
Hello.
Now on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So I have to ask you guys, what is it like now that you've moved over to a streaming platform rather than being on cable?
It's liberating. We're
alive.
The show belongs on a streaming platform. The commercial break format really would inhibit and kind of interrupt the flow of this kind of epic space opera. It's not a formulaic type of show. It's one big, long, 10-hour feature film. So to have the ability to watch at your own pace in your own way is really a luxury. And I think it's kind of the way we're watching TV now.
And it also allows us not to have to, stick to a 45-minute and 30-second, format.
Right.
So we can breathe a little bit if we need to. It can be a little shorter if we need to. But also, the writing is wildly intelligent, and it doesn't lend itself to have commercial breaks.
Insanely smart.
It is. And sometimes it's like if you have too much of a gap, if you have a week or a commercial in between things, you'll lose stuff.
Yeah.
You won't get it.
Yeah.
Because you're asked.
So it lends itself to the storytelling in a much larger sense as well.
All right, so that brings up another question. So now, since your first 3 seasons were on Sci-Fi, and now they're now streaming on Amazon Prime, so everyone can catch up before this new season starts. Do you think there's going to be a difference when people are watching when you shift from season 3 into season 4?
Yeah, people are going to stay up all night because it's going to be really tough to turn it off. Every episode is so awesome. So,
but it is a big tonal shift as well, and I think when the writers are writing it without having to take into account the commercial breaks, that splits up the acts in a different way. So I feel like it will kind of watch a little differently than maybe the first 3 seasons, but only for the better.
Right. And now, speaking of the tonal shift, going into season 4, you're also starting on a new book from the actual series of novels. So season 4 is actually starting with book 4. So can you guys kind of go down the line and tell me where your characters are at now going into this new season after all these gateways have opened up and this new universe is kind of out there for you?
Well, I think what I love about going into season 4 is that we have been through the ringer in seasons 1, 2, and 3. We have all been baptized in fire, and by the time we get to season 4, there's a little bit of time that's passed, and we are now not just a family in terms of the Rossi crew, but this also applies to the other members of the cast. But we are now really comfortable in our skins, and we really know who we are and how we fit into our team. Whereas in the first 3 seasons,
that doesn't apply for everyone.
Not for everyone,
but definitely for the
but for the Rossi
group.
group.
Right.
But we're figuring out who we are, and we really do know who we are in terms of being this member of this team now. And that to me was really actually a fun way to start season 4, as kind of like, this kind of finely tuned, experienced team.
But specifically, character-wise, that in mind, we're all a bit more comfortable. And then, obviously, we go to a planet, so there's quite a physical challenge for Naomi throughout season 4 that she's never, ever had to deal with in her life, ever. So we're definitely seeing her adjust to her new surroundings, and then that's without taking into account all the other stuff that happens. But that's quite a big through arc for Naomi in season 4.
There's a reason that my character seeks out a life in space. There's a certain regimented schedule, confined spaces, not a lot of time to let your mind wander and to do other things. Once we get to this new planet, there is not that. There's a certain tension in the air. There's a certain threat that's always there.
Mm-hmm.
It's open air. There's a primal kind of frontier type of thing that brings out a side of Amos that is really reminiscent of his childhood, and it really connects him back to that. So a lot of the foreshadowing, the seeds that we've planted in the first 3 seasons, you will actually be able to see a lot of that happen in this season, in this episode, in this season.
We get to finally see a glimpse of Mars with Bobby, and she has quite a Her journey is actually a little more emotional this season. I think she's really like discovering herself and her limits and what she's about, what her purpose is. And so, yeah, we'll get to see. But it's not like anything you've seen of her before. She's still the badass that we know and love, but you see her being badass in different ways this season. Yeah.
And I think we find Holden in the beginning of season 4 kind of settled into his prophet-like circumstance, where he's the only one talking to this ancient civilization.
Prophet.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is. He is talking to a technology, so I mean, it is kind of prophet-like.
We have a third wheel in our relationship, which is
with-
delightful.
right. Miller's a very, very intimate partner, and in all of this.
Who's
Naomi?
Miller?
Who that fool?
But
Who you talking to?
But I think you do see him settled into his circumstance and his place within the Rossi crew, and also within the kind of larger story as well.
And us accepting it as well, which is bizarre.
Trust.
Trust.
You're going to say something?
He said prophet, and I thought hoses.
Moses?
No.
Moses.
I knew it was something.
Sorry, I tried to
Almighty
get out
hoses.
of it, but you
We've
let me.
gone way off.
I apologize for pulling you back in.
But when hoses comes down with the commandments that Miller has bestowed upon him. Sorry.
Oh, don't be. That was very, very good.
And on the production side of things, how has shifting to the new service changed the way the production has run on the back end for you guys versus cable?
It's changed on the distribution side. I mean, Alcon Entertainment has been the studio for us all through all the seasons, and we've kept continuity with the writers and the crew, and obviously the cast. We're working in the same place, but the distribution, I mean, the support, the understanding of what the show is and what it means to us and what it means to people out there is a big difference. And the reach, 200 countries, it's a very global narrative.
Which matches the story.
And
the world.
it's a perfect fit for us. So it's a wonderful thing.
That's great. And before we completely wrap out, the season will be dropping on December 13th
Yes.
on Amazon Prime.
2019.
All episodes at the same time?
All
Yes.
10
Is it?
episodes.
I don't know.
Yep. That's
Well,
how
I think
Amazon
so.
Prime works, I believe.
I think so.
Yes.
So there you go. To watch season 4 of The Expanse on Amazon Prime, check it out on December 13th
Yeah.
so that we get a 5th season.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Make a big
Check it out.
cup of cocoa and snuggle up by the fire and watch the season.
Thank all of you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks very
you.
much.